Very good. Also, vor 36 Jahren war Dawn 23 Jahre alt. Sie war verlobt, um ihren Larry zu heiraten. Sie hat in Cleveland gelebt und hat über 60 Stunden jede Woche gearbeitet, weil sie war in einem Einzelhandel-Management-Training-Programm. Und sie wurde da rein rekrutiert direkt aus der Universität von Michigan. Sie hat Mary Kay kennengelernt durch jemanden, die einen Kaltkontakt gemacht hat, die sie fragte, ob sie doch ihr Gesicht ihr ausleihen täte für ein Vorher-Nachher-Portfolio. Und Dawn hat klar zugesagt und hat sich sofort in das Hautpflege verliebt. Und dann hat sie zugesagt, dass sie zu einem Meeting geht, und zwar ein Auszeichnungsevent. Und bei diesem Event hat sie gesehen, wie begeistert die Frauen waren, dass sie auf den Thron sitzen dürften, dass sie Kronen tragen dürfen, dass sie Schärpen bekommen können. Und sie war so imponiert durch das Einkommenpotenzial. Aber am allermeisten hat sie sich in die Kultur von Mary Kay verliebt. Und zwar die Kultur, Frauen zu unterstützen und anzuregen, das beste Version von sich selbst zu werden, mit ihren Priorität, erst Gott, dann die Familie und dann die Karriere. Sie hat ihre Vorführtasche an dem Abend gekauft und ihre Vereinbarung unterschrieben, und zwar mit einem ungedeckten Scheck, in der Hoffnung, dass er nicht springt. Und sie sagt, das Rest ist Geschichte. Die letzten 36 Jahre hat Dawn überall in der USA gelebt, und zwar zum Teil an der mexikanischen Grenze, dann in Georgia auf einer Insel, und zurzeit wohnt sie im Großraum Detroit, wo auch ich her bin. Und in den letzten 36 Jahren hat sie ihr Geschäft aufgebaut als Single, verheiratet, auch als sie 2 Babys, die 24 Monate voneinander entfernt werden, beide durch Kaiserschnitt auf der Welt gekommen sind, keine Familie um sich herum. Ihr Sohn hatte 2 offene Herz-OPs, ihr Ehemann ist bei der Bundespolizei und arbeitet verrückte Stunde. Sie sind viel gereist wegen dem Sport von den 2 Kindern. Sie hat beide Kinder durch den College in der USA gebracht, was sündhaft teuer ist, ohne dass sie einen Cent dafür hat aufnehmen müssen, und konnte natürlich auch die Traumhochzeit von ihrer Tochter Otten Sweeney bar bezahlen. Und Otten ist ein Pink Cadillac Direktorin und hat dieses Jahr zum ersten Mal den Top-Tritt nach Schottland erreicht und hat gerade vor 14 Tagen Dawns erstes Enkelkind bekommen. Manche von Dawns Karriere, they're all excited about the baby.
Me too.
Dawns Höhepunkte in der Karriere habe ich euch ja geschrieben. Also sie war Direktorin 15 Jahre lang und hatte 12 aus diesen 15 Jahren war sie Top-Direktorin. Ihre dritte Top-Direktorenreise war nach München zum Oktoberfest, und da war auch eine Gruppe von wir deutsche Direktorinnen, inklusive ich. Das heißt, wir müssen beide jetzt die Fotos rausgraben, um zu gucken, ob man sich vielleicht da schon kennengelernt hat. Also, sie hat 2 Jahre mit ihrer Unit über die Mille gemacht. Sie war einmal die Nummer 1 im Emerald Seminar. Sie ist jetzt ein Teil von der Sapphire Seminar und sie war Nummer 6 in der gesamten Firma. Ihre höchste Provisionscheck, und das ist nicht inklusive Auto- und Produktverkauf natürlich, in einem Monat war über 36.000. Und sie hat mindestens 3 Jahrzehnte, jedes Jahr über $100.000 zu versteuerndes Einkommen beim Finanzamt angegeben, also nichts am Fiskus vorbei. Und sie hat bis dato über 4 Millionen Provisionen verdient und fährt seit 34 Jahren ein rosa Cadillac Sie hat 50 Karat Diamanten in den Ringen, die sie von Mary Kay bekommen hat. Sie ist seit 17, gell, Christine, könnte uns gefallen. We're like in the 50 carats, diamonds. Sie ist seit 17 Jahren National Sales Director und sie sieht ihre Rolle als Leader extrem ernsthaft. Ihr Skyscraper Area baut gerade auf, dass sie in den Inner Circle kommen und sie arbeiten daran, mehrere nationale Areas in den nächsten 3 Jahren aufzubauen. Also heißt bitte mit einem lauten Applaus, ihr könnt euch entstummen, mit einem lauten Applaus aus Canton, Michigan, Independent National Sales Director Dawn Otten Sweeney. Willkommen!
Oh my gosh, that's a lot of words, right?
Welcome.
So many words.
A lot of words.
I am so happy to be with you all. This is a part of technology I love. There's parts that we don't love, right? But this is the part that I love, that I get to see all of your beautiful faces and be with you to launch you into your last 13 days of this seminar year, but more importantly, into your next seminar year, right? You know, some of you may be at the point that you just want this year over with and you want to turn over a fresh page. Some of you are laser focused and you know exactly what you're doing and it's game on. We all have both of those types of the last month of seminar years. We do, but we have to learn how to be good stewards of our time in both of them, because either of those, either racing through a finish line with the possibility, is it fine? Can they hear?
Yeah.
All good? Okay. Yeah. Racing through a finish line, giving it your guts, or going, I don't know what else to do. I just need to get restarted. Either of those has pros and cons, right? Because when you race through and you're doing a big push, a lot of times the planning for the launch is neglected. And so you have a huge July, and then August, you are resting, you're resetting, and you almost set yourself up for a 11-month year, a 10-month year, a 9-month year, a 6-month year. You know, some of my directors like to wait and have a 3-month year. You know, they just find it exciting, I think. But right now, if you're at a place that it's not the year that you thought it was going to be last year at this time, last year at seminar, then I'm going to give you some ideas of how to use this time wisely, this next 13 days. So this actually turns into like a 13th month for your next seminar year. For those of you who are pushing through and you're like, you just want to tune in, you wanted to see what I had to say, re-listen to this on the other side on August 1st, when you are like, okay, I have my end of the seminar year brain done. Now I'm moving into the new one. I want to give you guys some resources that I'll refer to that, again, with technology, I have a YouTube station, a YouTube channel. So it's just under my name. I think with YouTube, there's no hyphen, but on my YouTube channel, I have all my audio training that I use for my whole area, and a lot of Mary Kay National area in the United States use to train their consultants. It's called boot camp. And even though I made it, gosh, 15 years ago, it still is relevant with our virtual in-person hybrid as it was, because it's classic book, coach, sell, recruit. I was trained by Mary Kay Ash. I went to her home for new director training. I have a dollar bill here that has her handwriting on it, if you can see it, that says Matthew 25:14-30, that she handed me when I walked out of her home for new director training. I was pregnant with my daughter that you heard about, that just had our first grandbaby, when I went to London on my first director's trip. And there's pictures of me with Mary Kay standing next to me in my maternity jumper. Maternity clothes have gotten so much cuter. Oh my goodness. But the first 2 trips I went on Mary Kay was there. Daylene White was my national. She was one of the first 9 Mary Kay consultants. She was a friend that started this just to help Mary Kay Ash out. And then she was going to stop. You guys, I have no problems when people are pushing through finish lines when they recruit friends. If someone chooses to not use the product on the other side of it, have them be a customer again and give them 20% off for helping you out. But you never know when people get a peek on the inside, what they may see that they'll never see on the outside. Daylene White, I don't even know how many consultants, directors, and nationals stem from her, thousands, because she was helping a friend, Mary Kay Ash, towards her dream and goal. So all of my training is very classic Mary Kay. Debbie Moore is the person who brought me into Mary Kay. Kathy Halou is her offspring. So myself and Kathy Halou are Debbie Moore's offspring nationals. So that is my lineage. And I know now that I thought they were the same age as me. So when they retired 5 years ago, I'm like, I should be retiring, except I have 10 years left. And I know now why God timed it that way, because all of this that was poured into me, all these batons of Mary Kay's culture and tradition and principles that she outlines in her autobiography, the last chapter on legacy, that she says these 3 tenets need to be protected. And if they are, my company continues on past me. It was her succession planning. She was far ahead of her day. She was very much about legacy. Whereas so many people, I don't know about your country, but it's about, yourself retiring and playing golf and then enjoying your retirement, moving to Florida, whatever the case may be in the United States. And Mary Kay Ash, instead of retiring, which, is part of the American dream, is to work to retire, which I have found out stems from the Germans, because the Germans started retirement to get the older people out of the workforce so younger people could work. So Americans took it on, and it's become like a goal in life. I'm so grateful that Mary Kay Ash, when she retired from direct sales, chose to start this company and base it on principles that have been timeless over 60 years. We celebrate at seminar this year. I go this Friday, so I'm Sapphire. I wish the Germans were with me. I want to see you on stage in these gorgeous suits. We're always so jealous of the suits that you have. We're like, we want the European suits. They're so sharp. But we want the pink Mercedes, and you guys want the pink Cadillac. So everyone wants, you want straight hair if it's curly, curly if it's straight, right? But Mary Kay, the boot camp training, my consultants will use for, or my directors use for pay setters. They use it for like weekly trainings. Also on my YouTube channel, I have a master's program, which I just did this past year, because I know if I'm called to raise up nationals, I have to be able to raise up 100 directors in a short time period. And so I couldn't keep training them the way I was, more one by one. And so the master's program, you can watch a video. You guys could each watch it the same week or with a couple of your buddies and then discuss it. But it's classic director skills that I was taught from Daylene and Debbie and Kathy that I believe have created the solid foundation for my business to not just survive during the ups and downs in the economy, ups and downs in life, ups and downs in business, but thrive. And the biggest one was during COVID. I mean, we were shut down in Michigan, the longest of maybe any states in our country. And people are just starting to do meetings in Michigan again. So I'm grateful that I learned how to book, coach, sell, recruit, teach women how to wash their face, teach women how to build a business around God first, family second, and career third. And I was not a social media maven. I was not the US national that made use of Facebook. I still don't. I have a Facebook fan page. You can find me. That's where I can communicate with you all, or WhatsApp. I do Voxer also. I'm not sure if you guys do that, but it's like a WhatsApp. But I do Voxer a lot. But I have a Facebook fan page, so you can check me out there. But I have no friends. I had no social media, and still only use my fan page prior to the pandemic. But what I found is that social media and virtual business are very different, right? Social media is about you creating a brand of you and showcasing you. It's social, right? Virtual business is doing exactly what we've always done, serving women through this product, washing faces versus feet, equipping women to build businesses, to be able to be financially independent and not have to deal with a man getting a job, because he's a man and she's a woman, all the stuff that Mary Kay dealt with. And so virtual business is doing the exact things we did, but with a computer screen in between us, right? That's very different. And so I have seen, if you were very good with social media, you had to make a big shift into virtual business. If you were not comfortable with social media or hadn't started it, weren't doing it for your business, then actually just opening up the computer and doing a Zoom skincare class with the flip chart was survival, right? Like we just had to figure out how to teach women. And now we've learned how to do it QVC style. We do it with samples. I mean, all the things. And now we get to do it back in person, which should allow all of us to build faster than we ever have. All of us should be able to build our businesses and impact more women faster than we ever have, and fast and strong. Some people think fast equals weak, and that's not necessarily true as long as it's based on skincare classes. The skincare class is the vehicle. The number of skincare customers that your consultants have is the stability of your unit in their business. So as long as you are using the computer, the virtual piece of this to reach other people, you can, from this day forward, build your Mary Kay business faster than anyone's ever been able to build it in the history of Mary Kay. To me, that's exciting because I have been in Mary Kay 37 years. I've been a national 18 years. I only have 5 years left before I have to retire as an emeriti. And so I don't have enough time to go at the pace I have been going to build an inner circle area and raise up as many women possible at all levels, consultants, directors, nationals, international, that do things the Mary Kay way, are Mary Kay minded. The Mary Kay autobiography, any of Mary Kay's books, I think we should be required to read them on a regular basis because that's who you represent. This is not our company. This is Mary Kay Ash's mission and her family's company. We just have the blessing of being able to represent the 5th largest global beauty brand in the world. And I think the best opportunity for women in the whole world. So in Otten, my name, my great-grandfather came over, I think stowed away in a boat from Germany to Ellis Island. And my husband's family, Hecht, also, we have lots of German blood in us. And so this is what brought us together today is I love your Section 2 stuff. I adore it. And I wanted these for my Princess Court winners. And so Charmaine Lipscomb is a sorority sister of mine from college. And so she knows Maureen, and Maureen got me pens for all my Princess Court winners. And then, of course, in Mary Kay style, she helps me out. I help her out. What can I do? So these pens brought us together. I am grateful for this opportunity, like beyond words. And that's where I want to go for a few minutes before we get into some other like meat and potato training, but I want you to think about like, what are you grateful for? What has Mary Kay ushered into your life? You know, when you guys were talking about my grandbaby, I am so grateful that I had women model to me how to do God first, family second, and career third, and love all the different seasons versus being a grandmother that resented the grandkids, like they just would see them a little bit, but not like really embrace them. But also not a grandmother that was saying, okay, well, there's nothing left that God needs me to do in my life in other arenas. So I'm, just going to focus on this. Like I saw women that they looked at these grandkids. It's like, okay, game on. I'm staying focused on what God's called me to do because I want you to see me do what God's called me to do, so that then it gives you the freedom to go out there as my grandson and do what God's called you to do. Because we need everyone doing what God made them to do, right? For this whole thing to work. I'm a different grandmother. I'm a different wife. I'm a different woman, a friend, because of the relationships of Mary Kay women in my life. Mary Kay Ash, I mean, she modeled when the going gets tough, like you go out and serve people, you deal with life, but life is tough. And Mary Kay had a lot of tough life, but she always taught us the best therapy is to go do a skincare class and focus on other women. And when you do that, you're going to come home feeling better. It's free therapy. Actually, you get paid for it. I mean, our personal growth is free. We get paid for it. Our therapy is free. We get paid for it. As long as you compartmentalize during those tough times in life and deal with them and be, healthy about that. But then you focus on your work. Like I always ask myself, if I had a job that was employing me, that was giving me a free car, a 6-figure income, and a potential for a retirement program, an all expense paid trip for me and my husband every year, and free jewelry and flexibility, would I go to work today? And if I would go to work, I would go to work that day on my Mary Kay. So type in the chat, what are some things like you're grateful for your Mary Kay business that if you didn't have Mary Kay in your life, you may not have, it's income. What is some of the income paid for? What does some of the income go to? And I want you guys to type this. I want you to see all the things that we're grateful for in our businesses, the flexibility to do what? I mean, I think of family trips I've done, highlights of my kids and my life, and still are. We're still planning them. The top directors trip and nationals trips with my husband. That my husband, literally, anytime we talk to people about traveling, when he tells Mary Kay had a tent for us at Oktoberfest, and we were at that hotel right where the parade launched and stopped. Just all the travel all over the world that's possible. What money that you can give? Everyone's dreams cost money. I love, financing. Mary Kay was all about women and children. Financing, a woman in India that's helping women get out of the sex slave trade business and helping their kids have a different future. Like every time we do a skincare class, we have an opportunity. You never know who's going to be sitting around that table, whether it's on the computer screen or around the table. What are you grateful for? What are you most grateful for? What's the thing that makes you cry when you think of how grateful you are about that?
So we've already got a couple. Christina said that she is very grateful for Mary Kay because she was able to enable her husband to quit work.
Mm-hmm.
And Ariana wrote, first of all, I'm very grateful for my great skin. Nicole wrote, I am so thankful for the flexibility, time for my children, being independent, the life that I can live.
There's no better. And one of the reasons I'm having you write these things down, sometimes when we get to the end of Mary Kay finish lines, we can lose perspective, especially if people, I had a year of pruning this year in my national area. And so we can get fixated on what isn't happening or not happening how we thought it was supposed to be happening. You know, you feel like you go to seminar and you have this clarity and this focus and this passion, and then things just start unraveling, or people are not cooperating, or life's not cooperating, or the world's not cooperating. But what I encourage us always to do is to be anchored in gratefulness of what we do have in this opportunity, because that is a totally different attitude. And sometimes I think God's just saying, okay, I don't work on the Mary Kay seminar year. So my plans don't stop in 13 days for you at all. It's a continuous thing. Maybe this is a test to see how you're going to handle, you know, things not working out exactly how you want them to be. Are you still going to go for what I told you? You know, how many people here are clear of what God's called you to do in your Mary Kay business? The why you're here. Like, this isn't just a job. This is more than just having money deposited into the bank. Is everyone clear that this is more than just that for themselves? An exercise I want you each to do is I want you to get to your crying why. And it's nighttime there, so this might be a good thing to do when we get done. Just get quiet and say, okay, why am I doing this? Why am I doing Mary Kay? Why am I doing this? You know, there could be easier ways to make money. People are messy. People tell you one thing, they do another. People never cease to amaze me. After 37 years, still, people, I think they're doing crazier crap than they ever have. Like, just crazy. There's a lot of crazy going on all over the world. Like, people think what's right is wrong and wrong is right. It's like crazy. But you guys, when Mary Kay started this company in the early 60s in the United States, the Vietnam War was going on. Women were burning bras. The whole hippie, free love, take drugs, Woodstock, check out. Women were starting to go get out in the workforce, but Mary Kay saw them starting to think that they had to dress like men and act like men to be paid like men. And she realized that's not going to work. That's not going to work well. And that she was at her husband, her first husband had left her. So she raised the 3 kids on her own. And then her second husband died of a massive heart attack less than a month before this company launches. You know, she had all the reasons in the world to say, oh no, I can't do this. There's a lot of life. It's crazy in the United States that the accountant and attorney are telling me not to do it. I will never, Mary Kay always said this, the 6 inches between your ears are what will hold you back. I can look at my 37 years and the times when the economy in the world was craziest were my highlight years. We were actually in Ireland. It was my first $1 million year when 9/11 happened. And then we were back in London right after 9/11. That's where Mary Kay took their top directors from Ireland. The 40 of us were in London until they could get us back to the United States after 9/11. That was my first $1 million year. The next year we were number 1. And then 24 months after that, we were a national area. So please, I don't know what the economy is exactly in your country, but the toughest times in our economy in the United States have been my highlight years. I think because women need money. I think that they turn to our brand because of the value and the customer service, and we keep them on the other side. And you guys, I mean, there's always women. There may be ones that don't want to do the business or don't use the product, but there always is. You know, the pioneers of Mary Kay, I remember Ann Newberry talking about gas being rationed when she was building her business in the United States and people only having 1 car. And so men were taking that to work and women didn't have a car to drive. And we didn't have virtual business. We didn't have cell phones or the internet then. And these are the women who built up the United States and Canada with Mary Kay Ash. So that's just a little side note, but the crying why, like, write down why do I do this? And then what's the first answer? You know, I have to have so much money coming in. I quit my job 18 months. I quit my after my perfect start, I quit my job I had gone to college for, much to my parents' amazement, that I'd been recruited for this job out of college. And after a perfect start, I went, I can make more money doing this. And the people at the top in Mary Kay, I want to be like them. The women in the top of the companies that I was recruited into, I did not want to be like them. I did not want their life. I may have wanted their paycheck, but I did not want anything else. In Mary Kay, I wanted the whole package. I'm like, they have a piece I don't have. They have a, they get nicer as they move up the career path versus more cold and needing to keep people away from them. But what's the first why? And then after that, okay, so I pay my bills. What's my next why? Okay, maybe it's having enough money for extras for your family. Okay, so you do that. What's the next why? Okay, so maybe it's savings. What's my next why? Maybe retire your husband early, or give him an opportunity to go towards his dreams and goals. Because your dreams and your husband's dreams are attached to other people's. So you reaching your dreams is important. Your dreams are attached to other people's. And then after you do that, maybe it's ministries you want to support. Maybe you want to hear about a need and be able to write a check immediately for it. What is it? I want you to get to the point, why? Why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? Because you're going to get to a point that you're going to start crying. Because you're going to realize the only way that that's going to happen is if you proceed in your Mary Kay and achieve your dreams. Because your dreams being achieved is going to impact other women's life, but it's also going to be attached with financial resources. Mary Kay Ash said, the women who make the most money in Mary Kay have impacted the most lives. And I want you to get to your crying why. Because if you have a crying why, I believe Mary Kay did, she wanted to help women have a different life than she had. Desperately. Enough that she'd take her last $5,000 she had and continued on launching this company. You guys, in the 60s in the United States of America, women could not get loans at the bank without their husband co-signing for them. They could not get a credit card. Let's be clear what it was like for women in the United States when Mary Kay started this. It's still like that in some countries. She started it. She had a crying why. And I believe she was grateful for what she'd experienced in direct sales, that it gave her the flexibility and all the things it gave to her, but there were some things that she needed to tweak. Why am I spending so much time on this right now in your last 13 days? Because this changes your perspective of what you do with this 13 days. This 13 days matters. If you know what your goals are and you're racing through them, then you do that. But if the goals are going to get done or not done, and you need this new year to start right now, let's go into it with gratefulness and passion, fueled by our crying why. Because that's what gets me out of bed every day. That's what gets me over heartaches in Mary Kay and people betraying or bailing out. You guys, that happens in leadership. And Mary Kay Ash used to say, do it anyways. You're going to get hurt. You're going to get hurt again. Do it anyways. I remember getting to a point where I'm like, I'm just going to build a whole big unit because I can do that. And then I don't have to worry about people coming in and out of the unit, directors quitting, starting, la, la, la. And, that was protecting my heart. We have to be willing not to protect your heart, because the next person you recruit, she deserves your whole heart, your whole belief in this opportunity, your whole passion for all the things that you're grateful for. And she needs to understand that this is the fuel for your crying why and what is hers. Because when people are just going through life, getting up, going to work, coming home, watching TV, eating dinner, going to bed, getting up, going to work, like mechanically going through life, sedating themselves through whatever, because it seems purposeless. All you do is exchanging time for money, and you never seem like you're getting ahead. You guys, that is no way to live. And that's not how we live in Mary Kay. Thank goodness. I think God attracts women into this business that it's like, I don't want to live like that. I want to do more than just make money. I want to change people's lives. I want to be part of something that is impacting women and children all over the world. Okay. So on my YouTube channel, that masters, one of the trainings, I'm talking about tracking your unit size. I want to talk about some numbers because right now, if we're looking at this next 13 days strategically, this is a formula that you can find on my website. My website is dawn-otten-sweeney.com. The
Hold on.
password, yeah,
Dawn.
it's just my name,
-Sweeney.com. Yeah.
The password is legacy, lowercase.
Hmm.
And the director section password is leadership, lowercase. So on my website, there's going to be a section that says Dawn's frequently used handouts or resources. This formula is written out there so that you can, I'm going to go through it quickly, but you can take a look at that. Frequently used resources. You also may be interested in Team 30, Team 50, Team 100. Something that I found during the pandemic is that, first off, we were just happy to sell something. You know, we were just happy that we could sell something virtually and figure out how to do it. But people were just selling stuff, right? And we know in Mary Kay, like I shared earlier, the stability of your business is skincare customers, teaching skincare. And so the team concept is 30 faces should equal 10 skincare sets, 10 new skincare customers, and at least 3 new team members. Because also what I saw is people separating selling and team building. It was done separately. It wasn't the 4-point recruiting plan. They weren't being done together. And Mary Kay taught us to do it together. That's the way. Everyone deserves to hear about the product and the opportunity. And I don't have time to go into that, but there's a huge difference between recruiting and marketing. Marketing is just throwing out like Mrs. Cab or something at your parties. Recruiting, the 4-point recruiting plan is picking people out and saying, I think that you'd be great at this, Maureen. At the party, people were looking at you for your advice and for your opinion. So I would love to share with you how this works and see if it's something that would be a good fit for you. I think you're a good fit for Mary Kay, but if not, you'd be an educated talent scout. You know, I know you wanted that satin lips. Could I give you that for free for, you know, just doing a practice interview with me tomorrow? How your lunchtime, phone or in person, just depends on the situation. Picking people out, the 4-point recruiting plan. But we got to a place that it was just throwing products out there, seeing what they'd buy, throwing the opportunity out there, seeing what mud will stick. That's not what Mary Kay Ash taught us. She taught us to pick the people we want to work with, to pick them. You know, right now, this 13 days, if this is your 13th month in Mary Kay for the new seminar year, then you want to officially be on target for, do you guys have recruiting court? Is it the same as us? 24 people in a year qualified?
Yes.
Start it now in July. Don't wait till next month to start your B. Get your B now. Started. Get your 2 qualified. You probably need a gold medal. Mary Kay's solution for everything was a gold medal or 10-party week. That is what she'd tell you. Whatever you were belly aching about, get a gold medal, do a 10-party week. That pretty much solves everything. You get 5 new agreements in yourself. They fall in the seminar year. Who cares? Again, got to work on the Mary Kay seminar year. Get 5 new women in here. 2, at least 2 will get qualified. So then you start yourself up in momentum. Maybe she gets in a red jacket next month. Maybe she goes on target for her car, because the unit you have right now, they're not going to do any more next month than they're really doing right now. If they're not doing much the last month of the Mary Kay seminar year, they are not going to do more next month. Like, let's not be delusional, right? So let's get on target for our B. And then you have Queen's Court of Sales, the same Queen's Court of Sales, so much retail. Yep. So whatever that is, whatever that equals a month wholesale, you do that this month yourself. In the next 13 days, you do that yourself with new faces. Your new faces. Like my directors, the goal was first to do team 100 in 3 months, and then 2 months, and now 1 month. If you do this as a job, if this is your job, jobs are 40 hours a week. If you're doing this as your job, then team 100 is 25 faces a week, virtually or in person. It's pretty easy with the virtual piece. That was the Mary Kay, 5 parties a week. That's classic Mary Kay, 5 parties a week. And parties were 5 to 6 people. In the United States, we started to call parties 3 or 4 people when the company started to put 4 mirrors and trays in the starter kit to keep the price at $100. It was a price thing. It had nothing to do, like back in the day when I did a perfect start, you booked 8 parties to hold 5 parties. If you have 5 to 6 people at a party, that's 25 to 30 faces for a perfect start. That means a power start is double that. It's 50 to 60 faces. We got real watered down, and I don't know if that's spread over to Germany too, but to think that 30 faces is a power start, it is not. That's fake news. That's not original Mary Kay math. That math has been changed. It's not true. And you guys know it, because people who are just doing 30, it's hard to maintain a car or to build a unit or maintain a unit with that. Team 100, 25 faces a week, 33 new skincare customers in a month. And these tracking sheets are all on my website where I shared with you. And then 10 new agreements a month. You guys think about that. If you had 10 new agreements from your personal team a month, I mean, you start that this month and then do it the first 6 months of the next month. Do you guys do leadership conference?
Yeah,
Like halfway through
January.
the year? Okay.
January.
So halfway through the year, think of where you'd be. And really, again, if you have, no one doing much of anything, 10 new agreements a month yourself, like you have systems that support your people, but you'd have 60 and do this month 70 new people. You're going to have 5 people that want to do something. You're going to have 5 people that, you're going to have 10 in red jackets, just on pure numbers. And you're going to have 5 people, maybe they'll join you at leadership conference as directors. And you guys, you can change that because that's numbers, but you start it right now. This formula is, write down number 1, numbers. Number 2, target market. Number 3, skills/systems. Number 4, you. So you can go on to my website and look at this so you can see it and write on it. But this formula, when you want to evaluate your own business, so those of you who are running through and listening to this again, August 1st, look at your last 90 days or your last 6 months in Mary Kay. Those of you, do you have the unit analysis summary that Mary Kay has? So they give you some of these numbers. They're looking at the last 6 months of your business. But I want you to first to evaluate your business by your numbers. The numbers of new faces you've put the products on this last 90 days or this last 6 months or this seminar year. Number of new leads you've brought into your business. Numbers of new skincare customers. Numbers of interviews for yourself. Numbers of interviews with your unit. Numbers of agreements that have gone in. And with directors, very importantly, your unit size. In that master's program I was telling you about, I detail how to track your unit size. You guys, if you did nothing else different this seminar year than track your unit size, I guarantee you mid-year, you're going to be at a far different place than you were mid-year this year, because production follows people. And I don't care how good of a director you are. And actually, if you have a small unit size, you're a better director than your production is. You're a far better leader and director than your production shows, because 30, 40, 50, 75 people can only produce so much production. And if they produced so much last year, don't expect them to do more this year. If they do more, it's because someone gets inspired, to become a sales director, but she's soon going to be gone as a sales director, which is a good thing. But then you don't have her anymore and you're in worse shape, right? That's the story. So numbers don't lie. I want you to figure out by your leadership conference in your first 6 months, where does your unit size have to be for you to be on track for where you want to be next year at this time? You know the numbers for your pink car or whatever cars you have. You know your unit size for your unit clubs, for your, to get, million offspring directors, etc. You guys know that. If you're brand new directors, then someone that does know it will tell you. So what does that unit size have to be 6 months? So August, September, October, November, December, January. So by February 1st, do you need 100 people in your unit? Do you need 150, 200, 250, 50, 75? What does that number have to be? And then what you do is you go back this 6 months. And if let's say you are at 75 and you need to get to 125, you need 50 new people. So that's 10 a month, right? And so you need 10 new. So you may want to do that in this month in July, or you're getting ramped up to start that in August. But 10 new has to also add on the I3s who don't order that become Ts. So you're beating attrition. So right now, in this month, the month's already flipped over for you, right? In July. So it'll tell you the unit size you have that includes everyone through I3, their third inactive month. I'm assuming your activity status is similar to ours.
Yeah, so we just call it P3, which is passive. Yeah.
Okay.
Active 1, 2.
Oh, that's a good one.
Passive. Yeah.
Passive.
Yeah.
Yeah, very passive. Like I think they're still passive. They're not even using the products, because how can you use the products and not order every single month? I mean, this is probably 600 right here. Let's be serious.
Yeah.
So very passive. But so you, with unit size, think of when you were a DIQ. You were a dog with a bone focusing on getting to your 30 people or your 24 or whatever the number is. Like, that's all you did. You figured out, if I get the agreement in, I'll figure out how to get her active and I'll figure out how to get the production. And then all of a sudden as directors, we stopped doing that. And I will tell you, I know in my area, my directors that didn't track unit size during the year, which was pretty much all of them, even though this is my thing, I talk about it ad nauseum, they're at the same place or less. Your unit size right now may be at the same place it was last year at this time or less, but you've been working, but you're not tracking your unit size. So track your unit size again on my master's program. I think it's number 4. I'll send to Maureen my the master's program that tells which week has what topics in it. And then on my website, under the director section, are all the print materials that coordinate with the masters, the director training. That's director training. But numbers you can change first. Right now, this 13 days, you can change it. Then if you were doing the numbers, if you had the numbers in your unit to get the unit size that you wanted this seminar year, then I'd ask you to evaluate the target market. And you can see the target market details on that sheet. There's 5 characteristics. And when women hit 3 out of the 5, half will buy skincare if you're teaching skincare and closing. And 1 out of 5 will recruit if they're being interviewed, not just thrown marketing information out, and they've tried the product, right? Because numbers change when they haven't tried the product. They also change if they haven't been taught skincare and given an opportunity to buy a skincare set. So we have to filter those numbers into the equation. So if you told me this is my unit size, I grew my unit size from here to here, and then I looked at your target market. And for instance, with target market, when my daughter was 19, she was in sophomore in college and she wanted the Mary Kay car. because her and my son had an old car. And I'm like, if you guys fight about it on the other side of the state, the car's coming back. It's not a necessity. I didn't have a car in college. And so I'm not going to be coach of the car across the state of Michigan. So I never heard anything, but they were not sharing well at all. And so my daughter Alden said, I'm going to earn a Mary Kay car. She always said, I'm never doing Mary Kay. She goes, I want a free car. I'm like, okay, let's go. And I go, but if you're going to have recruits that are all college students, you're going to need 4 times as many than if you recruit some of their moms, their sisters, their grandmas, their aunts, and working women. And so just take that into consideration. Like with all products, there's a target market. And so there are markets that you can work in that people buy skincare, people, sign up, they can get inventory. They look at this like a business, and there's some that don't. You just have to know the target market so you can change it through the hostesses that you pick, the people you recruit, or you work with more numbers. It's not that you're not good at it. And this is something to teach your consultants. I coach my consultants the same way as my directors with this formula. If you're doing the numbers, then we look at the target market. If you have the numbers and the target market right, then we're going to look at skill, and then systems with directors. That's all detailed on my master's program. But systems are things like housekeeper, virtual assistant, customer manager for your taking care of customers' reorders, things like that, new consultant launching systems, etc. The 4th thing is you. And think about it. Maybe before we started this conversation, you were thinking like there's something wrong with you. You're not a good leader. Like as women, we start with ourselves. And then if we get done beating ourselves up, then we'll go to, oh, I don't know enough, so I need skill. So I have to go on social media and see what someone else is doing that's done more. Or maybe it's systems. I have to, fix my new consultant training packet. And then if you get past those 2 things, then you look at the target market of your unit and your customers. And then the last thing you do is evaluate numbers. And you guys, that's upside down. It's totally upside down. Look at your numbers first. Maybe there are some, character issues. Maybe there's leadership things that could be spiffed up on. Mary Kay always taught us, you read the Bible in the morning and you're reading something to help you get better as a human being every single day. And you're listening to something Mary Kay every single day. So we're always in a process of being transformed, always. But very rarely do I ever have to go past the numbers, because I'm not going to coach you in the business to be a national sales director and you have 45 consultants. We can't find 20 directors out of them numerically unless you're going to be the miracle. And so, Mary Kay always said it's easier to find, new than to resurrect the dead. It's so true. Like there's a very mathematical part of this business. And so I'd say 99% of my conversations with directors and consultants, I never have to go past the numbers portion. It'll save you so much time coaching your people. So much time. We don't have to talk about you don't know how to book because you got 5 new leads this year. You put the product on 2 faces this month. Like you can't earn a car that way. It's not possible. So are you willing to change your numbers with all the ways you give them the resources? You give them the resources, but if they're not willing to change their numbers, then we have to change their goal. And then how to work with them and where to invest. So after this call, I want you to evaluate your numbers. And then I want your unit size, where is it going to be by leadership conference? Are you committed to the court of recruiting and getting on target? And honestly, really, like if you need a lot, like there's a big gap from where you are to where you need to go, a big God gap. These are great because this is where your faith grows. But I want to challenge you to get your bumblebee done by your leadership conference. Get your bee done by leadership conference. If you're recruiting 10 a month, you're going to have a bumblebee. You're going to have 24 by leadership conference. That'll change everything real fast. You'll be next year at this time, we'd be having a totally different conversation. So you guys, I'm hoping that it gives you resources. There's one on my YouTube. You can, I don't know if you follow on YouTube or you sign up to be not a subscriber. There's something, you just join, whatever. It'll alert you whenever I put something new there. And so if you look on the video section, there's one that my daughter and myself did probably 4 days after her baby was born. So she earned her first trip, went to Scotland. They moved into their historic dream home in Detroit, and then found out they were expecting a baby. And then she was sick for 5 months, literally like in the bottom of the shower with water running on her. She calls it the dark sunken place, that she felt so horrible. And then had Steele June 21st, which this is the end of the Mary Kay year. It was the end of the Mary Kay year for us. But while she was in labor, you have a long time when they're inducing you. She's like, okay, I got to figure this out. Like, this is going to be my $1 million year. So she'll be jumping from 400,000 this year. But see, her push to get the trip built up enough momentum that she could really be out of the game a lot last year and still do 400,000 and still have a solid Cadillac unit, which is what, you know, when you build your unit size up, you will have. I love that about our business. But she asked me, she said, Mom, will you, because I'm not the mom, like she's been given no unit members for me. Like, I'm not the mom that did the science project. You're in 3rd grade. I did 3rd grade. I'm not doing your science project. I raised my kids. I built a trip unit, $1 million unit national area. I'm not taking that away from you. When I retire, I'll give my unit to her when I retire, because that would make sense versus somewhere else. But she has done this. I want her to do this on her own so that she owns it. It's different. You know, whenever we do something for someone that they can do for themselves, we enable them. And I think of that picture of the caterpillar. When you clip, it struggles to get out of the cocoon. And if you clip it, its wings don't build the strength to fly. And when we're not where we want as leaders, a lot of times we're enabling our people, because then we feel like we're working. That's not healthy for them, but it's also not healthy for us. So you're tracking your unit size, you're committing. When the going gets tough, you get your B. Those of you who are already game on, you race through this 13 days and then you re-listen to this, the strategy video. And I think if you listen on YouTube, I bet you can figure out how to translate it if you don't know English. I bet there's programs that translate videos for you. I'm sure there is. There's everything out there, good and bad. But we did a strategy session and recorded it with her thinking through what she's doing and then me applying it to directors at all the different levels in my area. It's very strategic. I want you guys to listen to what you've heard now, but then figure out what is your strategy for where you're going. And then with whatever Mary Kay Germany offers and with whatever you see out there in the internet by other people, you pick and choose what supports your strategy, because something we have lost during this age that we can see what everyone's doing all the time is some have lost the ability to think. Some need to use their brain muscles more. Like, God gives you a strategy to do things a certain way that's unique to you. And this numbers formula, a lot of the stuff that you see, the teams, the new consultant training packet, skincare surveys, so many of the things that I do in my business were generated from times when things weren't going how I want it. And I'm like, all right, God, I don't even know what to do. I don't even know what to say to them anymore. And all of a sudden that formula, that coaching formula just dropped into my gut. And I'm like, okay, I've used it for 20 years now. Like, you guys, those are things that God's going to give you. Some things in Mary Kay, it's fine to copy and plagiarize, but when all we're doing is copying other people and you are taking no time to think yourself, you're undermining your greatness and you're undermining the women that need to see you be amazing in your greatness, because all of us play a different role. But all of us, when we're playing to be our best, our company and our mission is unstoppable. And that's the goal, right? Because you have a why, and you're going to find the crying why if you don't already know it. You're grateful for this opportunity. You're willing to work. You're passionate about this company and this mission and impacting women and children and being part of the foundation being solidified in your country and around the world for the next 60 years because of all the reasons that we shared that we're grateful. You guys, I'm excited to hear how you finish. I wish you were going to be at the Sapphire seminar, but please feel free to stay in contact with me. I hope that the resources are helpful. I hope this sets you up to be excited about the next 13 days. And you guys, I believe the best is yet to come in Mary Kay all over the world. If this world needs anything, it needs hope. It needs people that love and care and serve. You know, Mary Kay built this on the golden rule: treat others as you want to be treated yourself. Gosh, that would solve a lot of stuff, right? Love God, serve others. That was Mary Kay's Ash's model and wish. Love God, serve others. Thank you for doing that. And thank you for plugging in. And thank you, Maureen, for inviting me.
Ooh. Absolutely amazing. Thank you very, very, very much. And Dawn, if you have a moment, perhaps somebody's got a question that they would like to specifically ask you. Does anyone, hat jemand eine Frage für Dawn? We got lots of thanks. Thank you very much. Thank you for giving me exactly the thought I needed.
Good.
Fragen? Kann jemand fragen? Okay, it doesn't look like anyone has questions. It looks like we are all extremely grateful. And you will notice the clicks on your Facebook page will be higher than ever before because we're going to go in and have a look. So thank you very, very, very much. On